The exposure threats. So being caught means their carefully constructed mask is slipping. Okay. Narcissists live in a consistent performance loop built on how others perceive them. So when someone sees behind that mask, they fear public humiliation, rejection, and also a loss of power. Okay. Paranoia grows because they start believing everything sees what they're trying to hide. Let me repeat that. Paranoia grows because they start believing everyone sees what they're trying to hide, which is their insecurity, their manipulation tactics, and their deceit. But yet again, if they're not doing these things, why should they worry about what another person thinks of them? You see how it's very contradictory when it comes to talking or dealing with individuals in this nature here? It doesn't make sense. They don't make sense. They're always saying something, but the minute that you, and I wouldn't even say challenge because you don't have to challenge them. When it comes to the truth, to me, from my perspective here, I don't think when it comes to speaking the truth is a form of challenge because the truth is what it is, if that makes sense. But because most people are not willing or they don't have the bandwidth to be able to accept the truth as is, they look at the truth as them. They look at you are the one that's speaking the truth and they feel like you are challenging them because you have the actual truth, if that makes sense. So fear of losing control, again, control is your safety nets, but the safety nets surrounding the control were the lies, not the truth. Yet again, they keep saying that they are the truth, but you prove them right every time in regards to the lies that they speak. So control of lies are their safety net, not the truth. You can't control truth. You see where I'm going with this? You cannot control truth. The truth will always be what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, you're gonna get a couple responses, couple, mixed responses. Dang, that's the truth. Yes, that's the truth. Wow, that's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth. Oh, yeah, that's the truth. Yep, that's the truth. But that's the truth. It is what it is, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, here, when they are caught, uh, the narrative they've been shaping begins to unravel, which is the lies, not the truth. Because if you speak in truth, you ain't, it's not going to trigger you because you know what the truth is. You're not entertained by what the so-called lie is because it doesn't connect to the truth, if that makes sense. So paranoia starts to surface as a desperate attempt to regain control. The lies. Paranoia surfaces as a desperate attempt to regain control of the lies, not the truth. They may start assuming others are plotting against them, okay? Gossiping or turning people away from them. It's not always based on reality. It's their mind way of defending against vulnerability. When you are truthful with self, you are very vulnerable with self. Why? Because you're speaking the truth. Did that happen to you? Did you go through that experience? Yeah, I went through that. Dang. And of course, you're going to get your response however you get your response here. But that's a part of being able to speak the truth is going to help you to be very comfortable with your vulnerability of self, if that makes sense. They don't know how to be vulnerable, which is why they tend to always be around someone like you who is open and willing to be vulnerable here. And when it's time to match the energy, they can't do it. They can't do it. Vulnerability of self equates to you being the truth of self. You're in a vulnerable state, which can either help you or it can hinder you. It depends on how you perceive that. But I highly recommend for you guys that if you're going to be vulnerable, first off, make sure that you heal your vulnerabilities behind closed doors first. That's the first and foremost thing. Hide your vulnerability or heal your vulnerability behind closed doors first. So that way, when you feel comfortable, or if you ever feel comfortable speaking in a vulnerable state, that when you do get backlash, because you're going to get backlash from people who can't be vulnerable, is what I'm saying to you. You're going to get people who don't know a thing or two about being vulnerable and knowing that you can be, and they're going to look at you as you trying to challenge them because you can do something that they cannot do. Number one, be vulnerable. And number two, be truthful as you are vulnerable. If that makes sense. So yes, they do need you because there's certain parts or aspects of yourself that they don't have. And they're trying to take that away from you. And they're trying to spin the narrative to where you still or would not be able to be vulnerable like they cannot be, if that makes sense. So, ego, injury, and projection. The ego cannot tolerate shame or accountability. When a person is vulnerable, wouldn't that bring forth some form of shame or accountability? Yes, and yes, it will. Specifically and especially for the person who can't do those things, who can't accept shame for what it is. They don't like shameful confrontation. They don't like shameful meltdown. They can't do anything in a public forum without, shame kind of creeping in because they do these things behind closed doors. So the moment that people see that they're doing very shameful acts is a minute where they're going to start to self-destruct and they can't handle it. But you can. Despite what you may have experienced or despite what you may have went through, you can handle the vulnerability because that's what makes you you. I look at vulnerability as a form of a superpower. I truly do. Again, your vulnerability can either break you or it can make you. And you guys are in a space here, in a healing space where it's starting to make you be the most strongest person even you even knew was a part of you, if that makes sense. So with that being said, the ego cannot tolerate shame or accountability. We all have egos, but you're learning how to balance out your egos. You're learning how to pick your battles wisely or choose your battles wisely. You're learning not everything requires an argument or miscommunication or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Your vulnerability, despite you going through a lot of vulnerable, harsh experiences, is molding you to put you in a position where now you're becoming a very balanced individual here, and they can't do that. You are balanced and they're unbalanced. A balanced person versus an unbalanced person, yeah, that ain't gonna work. It's not going to work. You're balanced and they're unbalanced. So you're up here, they're down here. And this is how it's gonna be. It's gonna be a seesaw. You're trying to do better, they don't want you to do better. You're trying to get out the situation, they're trying to drag you back into the situation. It's like oil and water. It don't mix. You are the water that wants to flow effortlessly. They are the oil that wants you to be stuck and muddy and nasty and icky like amongst the water, and you're trying to flow, if that makes sense. What's going on? Oh, okay. So the paranoia often sounds like you're lying on me. Everyone's out to get me. You're trying to make me look bad. Again, you don't have to try to do anything with these narcissistic individuals because they already do the hard work for you. You're trying to make me look bad. You're trying to make them look bad when they already make themselves look bad based on the decisions that they made for themselves and towards other people. Make this make sense, man. They externalize their guilt by accusing others of the very thing they're guilty of. Underneath the mask lies a deep, fragile identity that depends on validation. No validation, no purpose of self when it comes to them. When they are caught, their sense of self fractures, but it's always been fractured, as I mentioned before. It's always been fractured. It's just that situations and scenarios has now came out to light here, where now you're actually seeing just how fragile, much more fragile that they are. Again, I use cotton balls as an analogy here. Cotton balls are only used for a temporary fix of something, taking off your makeup, wiping your face, cleaning your face. You know, you may have like a little cut or a little bruise or a little scar, whatever the case may be, and you're using that temporary fix, cotton ball, and you're trying to clean or wipe or whatever it is, into a betterment of a situation here. So with that being said, paranoia becomes the glue to hold those pieces together. The paranoia is the cotton ball. And once you get past the cotton ball, and once you soil the cotton ball, because yet again, it only can be used for like maybe a 5-second something or 10-second something. It's not a permanent fix. And they're looking for temporary solutions to be their permanent fix. And that will never, ever, ever work. It won't work. Despite how much they try, it won't work. So, with that being said, it's their psyche scrambling to make sense of exposure without accepting self-blame. Well, it's your fault. It's your fault. I didn't this, and I couldn't this, and you didn't do this for me, and you didn't da-da-da, da-da-da. It's their psyche scrambling to make sense of exposure without accepting self-blame. What is the exposure here? The truth. That is the exposure. That's what they can't handle. Again, they cannot tolerate shame or accountability. Isn't accountability truth? You have to hold yourself accountable in order for you to accept the truth as such. Not so? Make this make sense. Oh, goodness gracious. They subconsciously know that being exposed means potential abandonment or loss of admiration, which is the truth. They subconsciously know that being exposed means potential abandonment or loss of admiration, the truth. Why do people disappear from you or disconnect from you? It's because of the truth that you speak. Sometimes it come off too harsh, and they can't handle the harshness of your truth. And when I say harsh, sometimes you could just be talking regular and just chill, and you may point out something. There's no yelling, there's no screaming, you ain't trying to cause an argument, you're just saying it as is. But because that person is not able to accept it, or the delivery in regards to how you deliver it, they can't handle it. They feel challenged by your truth because they want to maintain the control of their lives. Does that make sense? So because of the truth that you speak, or the truth that you walk in here, now they feel people are going to abandon them because their lies are not connecting to your truth in the way that they anticipate or they perceived it as such. Again, narcissistic individuals do not make sense. They don't. I don't care how long they've been a narcissistic person. I don't care how long they've been hiding behind closed doors. They don't make sense. It is a construct, a false construct that they made in their mind to give off as if it's true. Again, I'm going to use analogy in regards to being and feeling powerful. They keep saying that they're powerful this and powerful that. And yeah, you guys are all powerful in your own right. You are. But how they perceive their power is from a negative standpoint of things, where they may hurl their projections, or they may speak ill or down on someone. They may gossip about other people, whatever the case may be here. And when that true power of who they truly are comes back around 360 here and is slapped right dab in their face here, they can't handle their own power of the words they spoke. Does that make sense? They're very contradictory. They're a walking contradiction. So, their paranoia is a self-defense storm. It's a mix of fear, guilt, shame, and control panic. All activated when their illusion of perfection is threatened by the truth. This is why all this is happening in the way that is happening. One thing and one thing only, the truth. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. The absolute truth. Do you know how far some people will go to ensure that their lies are never to be shown as such? Take a look at the individuals that you were connected with beforehand. Look how far they went to ensure that you could never utter the truth. Again, the truth can be buried for whatever, however long. But just because it's buried doesn't mean that it went away for good. It's just buried. It's like a seed. You're placing the seed of truth inside of a soil. You don't know what to expect, but you're hoping for the best. And people who are specifically love to tell lies or live a life of lies are going to keep pushing that seed of truth down all the way down, not realizing that they're helping the truth to surface at any point in time. Again, they don't make sense, man. They don't make sense. And you shouldn't argue with someone that doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be in an altercation or a spat or whatever, however, with someone that doesn't make sense. Because if they're not ready to hear the truth as such, it's not going to make sense to them. Leave them alone. Just let them be. Who cares? People gossip because they want their lies to be seen as such. And it can't. Oh, and they should have and you and okay. Who cares? Who cares? And that's what they can't stand about you, because you don't care. Why should you care about a lie that is not the truth? Now, I'll use it as an example. Let's say that you are 5'8". Someone say, "Oh yeah, the collective's 5'8". No, the collective's not. The collective is 6'2". Why would you get upset at someone that don't know you? They say, "Well, no, they're 5'8". They're not 6'2", but you know for a fact that you can stand up against a measure tape here, and you can measure out your heightness here, and you can actually see that the collective is 6'2". I'm just using that as an example here. What they say don't matter, because that's not the truth of you, is what I'm saying. People are going to create many different types of stories and scenarios around you because they can't handle your truth. They have to supersede your truth with their foolish lies. Let them. Who cares? The only way it's going to trigger you is if you see or perceive it as such, the truth, and it's not. It's not. That's why I say, that's why I always say, thank you. This is why I always say your truth is going to trigger people that is not ready to handle the bandwidth of the truth that you either walk in or that you speak. And that's not a you issue. That's a them issue. Some people are not ready to face themselves because all they lived or all they knew were nothing but lies. And most people are wanting to control the lies of their narrative in regards to how other people perceive them. You're going to get to a point in your life or your spiritual path or your spiritual journey here where you truly don't give a flying fart about what anyone thinks or say about you. Again, because it's not the truth of you. Who cares? Why are they tripping out in this way? They expect you to trip out because they want you to confirm the lies as such. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You're doing a disservice to yourself is what I'm saying here. Don't do that. Your energy will always speak for you. Always. That's something I had to learn. Yes, as a Scorpio, because my mouth is, and I'm West Indian too. The Trini to be like, ugh, I be ready to stick it to people. But I was like, you know what? That's something I had to learn. I had to learn grace with my fiery mouth. I'm being so for real with you. I took accountability for that. That is the truth of me. I realized, I was like, you know what? Some people deserve a real good nasty cuss out, like a real good drag up. I was like, you know what? Not everybody deserved that. Let me pick and choose my battles wisely. And that's what I did. I took accountability and I saw the truth within myself that not everything needs to be fought. And when I realized that, I stopped caring about it. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, yeah, okay, say what you want to say. It's not the truth. If that makes sense, accountability is key when it comes to learning the truthful, rawest form of yourself. Yes. And as Scorpios, if I have Scorpios on here, you know we are deep. We're intense. That's our nature. We're very deep and we're very intense. Okay. So with them, You bring forth a lack of confidence that they've never experienced before, which is kind of odd because they never had the confidence to do anything by themselves in the first place. They needed other people or a mirage of other people to feel validated and to solidify their lies as such. The more people feed into their lies, the more their confidence rise. That's a false sense of confidence. It's not real. You need another person to validate how you feel about another person? That doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So some individuals will go out their way to financially bankrupt themselves here because they feel money talks. Yeah, money do talk, but in which way? If you are fully aware as to who you are, money ain't gonna do nothing to you. And let me rephrase that. If you know that you are speaking the truth and you're walking the truth, and someone is trying to pay off other people with lies here, of course they're going to financially ruin themselves. What does that have to do with you? Your money gonna be intact once you realize the type of game that they're trying to push onto you here. If that makes sense. Why would I utilize my money towards another person to destroy myself financially? I'm not doing that. I love money too much. I'm not going to compromise my security, my financial security to prove a point for another person. I'm not doing that. That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. But what makes sense to me is going no communication. That's what makes the most sense to me. And the moment that you decide, you speak your truth and you just leave it as such, that person is going to feel very hollow within because the lies is such. The lies are nothing but hollows within themselves. It's an empty part of themselves. Many parts of themselves are very empty here and hollow. And you came forward and you filled those hollow parts with truth. Yeah, it's going to stick to them. You did what you were supposed to do. You came, you saw, you conquered them with the truth of you. Yes, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. Like I said, some of y'all are walking karma and don't even realize it. Not everything with karma represents an actual physical fight or spell work or candle work. It's not always that way. There are many forms of karma. Yes, it is. There's many forms of karma. There's many ways to skin a cat, is what I'm saying. But most of society think it's just one way of doing something, and that's not the case. This is why you're always going to be able to stay ahead of the curve versus someone that has a limited box mindset of things. Make it make sense, man. I'm speaking to very intelligent individuals here because clearly you're understanding what I'm putting down. So I know that you guys have clear, concise sense in regards to what I'm stating towards you here. So with that being said here, yes, you were the karma. You are the truth of what they weren't anticipating to be. They never thought you were the truth, which is why they felt comfortable speaking the lies. Man, ain't nobody gonna believe you. They gonna believe my lie though. Man, ain't nobody gonna believe the collective's truth. Man, get out of here. Okay, let them do what they want to do. Who cares? Yeah, patooey. And then when you move on, months, years, days, whatever, they still talking about you, but they say they have power. I just broke this down completely. Their whole facade of lies have been completely broken down and pulverized into a pulp of BS, because that's what it is. It's a pulp of BS. And when you disconnect and don't give it any energy, don't talk about it or talk to them about it or fighting with them about it, you don't have to fight anyone about the truth of things. Again, the truth is always going to be what it is. You don't have to fight with the truth. You don't. Say it, go about your life. You don't have to fight with truth. People fight with lies because they can control others better with lies. And when I say lies, there are many different forms and aspects surrounding lies. Lies come in the form of gossip. Yes. Lies come in the form of someone not taking accountability for themselves. That's also a lie. Lies come in many ways, shape, or form, is what I'm saying. So you can't give a half-assed truth and you're still living a part of you that's a lie. It won't make sense. It just won't make sense. And yet again, you're dealing with people that don't make sense. Could be a Taurus. However it resonates. You could be the Taurus or they could be the Taurus. It could be a Capricorn. However it resonates. You could be the Capricorn. They could be the Capricorn, which is why they are suffering in silence, not you. Why should you suffer in silence for being the truth or speaking the truth? Make it make sense. Have you lied? Are you lying to yourself? Let me ask that question specifically towards the collective here. At any point in time in life, have you ever lied to yourself? And be honest. You don't even have to say it here, but that's a shadow work prompt or question that you can ask yourself. And be honest with yourself. That's how you're going to be able to take real, raw, true, authentic accountability when it comes to you. I'm telling you. I know I have, where there's some very shocking truths that I found in regards to the parts where I wouldn't take accountability. Yes, but it helped me to formulate and it helped me to form better parts or versions of myself so that way I can ensure to take accountability for what I either did or said. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to make up for my mistake. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not afraid to say it. Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I could take accountability for something that I should not have done or should not have said. That's the truth. But they can't do that. How dare you this? And how dare you that? And oh me, oh my. And y'all, you're looking at them like, yo, really? You really acting like that? Like, really? That's mainly where anger issues come from. No accountability. No accountability of self. That's where the anger comes from. Especially when you see that they're not telling the truth about themselves. So yet again, they know people are trying to take them out, and that could be spun in many different ways. How? It could be spun in a way where they feel people are going to reject them. People are taking them out in that way. People are rejecting them. That's one way. People are abandoning them. That's another way. There are many ways to skin a cat. That's just a saying. But you're dealing with people that are very, they have preconceived notions surrounding how they think the narrative should fit. You can't fit a lie into a narrative. Why? Because you have to keep creating another lie and another lie and another lie and another lie just to fit that preconceived notion of the narrative that's not true. With the truth, you can just stick that thing right there. Yup. Dang, that fits really well. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's why there's two sides to everything. And the person who's not truthful with themselves is always the first person to initiate the control of the narrative. Does that make sense? Because again, if you're speaking the truth, you ain't worried about no narrative. That's why most of you guys here may have struggled with that the narcissistic person will call a person up or they'll post something on social media to get people to look at their side as such. You won't have to do that if it's the truth of things. It's just going to come out as how it needs to be, is what I'm saying. People ain't truly living life how they keep saying that they are. They're not. Every day I'm impressed by the ones that don't do what they say they're going to do. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's something that I had to learn too. I give people too much benefit of the doubt. I do. Because I see the best in people initially. But now I'm like, I don't know more. I'm being honest. That's the truth of me. That's my accountability. That I can't always see the truth in everyone. No, because everyone don't think and perceive how I perceive. And I had to understand that. That's me taking accountability. That's my truth. You see where I'm going with this? The more you are accountable for yourself, the more truthful you're going to be. And nothing will phase you. I'm telling you. You'll be like, okay, what else? Oh, well, why they come to you and tell you that? Well, why didn't come to me? Well, why didn't they have the conversation with me? Oh, well, because and the response is always the same. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, well, I think they was going to try to argue with me and fight with me, and you probably don't even do stuff like that. When you're truthful, you don't have to argue and fight with anybody. I'm telling you, you don't. This is how you keep your peace. Literally and figuratively, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. This is how you keep your peace. Being truthful with self. To hell with what other people say. And they know that you're speaking the truth. They know that you are the truth, but they can't handle it, is what I'm saying. And if they can't handle your truth in regards to who you are, and that could be spun in many different ways, well, then they're going to create a narrative of control to spin it in a way where you come off as a liar. Do you resonate with lies? Ask yourself this question. Do I, the collective, resonate with lies? Yes or no? Yes. If you do, okay, that's fine. But now you have the accountability. You can take the time to switch or shift the narrative so that way it no longer serves you for your highest good. Every day is a learning lesson if you allow it to be. That's up to you. How much accountability do you want to take for yourself? That's also up to you. People can scream the truth in your face all the time, but if you're not ready to accept it, it's not going to work. This is why this is not working. Because they have no control over your truth, just their lies. And that don't faze you. Or you're coming to a space where it's not going to faze you. My ex-husband used to do that all the time. We'll get into an argument, and it wouldn't even be an argument. I would just tell him about himself. Yes, I'll just tell you about yourself. I'm not arguing and fighting with you, and I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to tell you about yourself. It is what it is. And most people can't handle me because of that. I had to accept that. Like, dang, why is this happening? Because of my truth that I speak. I'm very stern and direct. In your face. And I'm like in your face like that, meaning if I'm having a conversation with you, I'm direct and I'm very firm when I have a conversation with you to let you know I'm not coming here to play games with you. I'm not going to beat around the bush with you. I'm going to let you know what's up in a very respectful way. But because of how direct I can come off, most people can't handle it. They may cry on cue. They may get upset. They call other people, girl, guess what? Oh my God, you won't believe what that would. And they were like, but she told the truth. But yet again, if they're not ready to take accountability for themselves in regards to the truth of who they are, they're not going to be able to receive it. So if you keep speaking truth to someone that's not ready to receive it, you're just wasting time. That's all you're doing. You're just wasting time. Don't waste time. Don't waste precious time. Your time, you are precious. Don't waste it on frivolous things. Don't waste it on frivolous arguments, spats, miscommunication. Don't waste your precious time on things that don't matter or things that don't make sense to you. Because yet again, they don't make sense. They don't see the truth as such. It doesn't make sense. They're very nonsensical. Why are you arguing and fighting with a nonsensical person who don't know the truth of themselves? Everything starts with you. Everything. Everything. Whether you want to believe that or not, okay, that's fine. Everything starts with you, literally and figuratively. So when you come up to them, and I'm not talking about fighting and I'm a regular, normal conversation, and you're speaking the truth here, it becomes a shocker. Why would they say something like that about me? I can't believe they did that, and I can't believe they did. I've never seen that side of them. They never seen the truthful part of you because yet again, collective, they already had a preconceived notion in regards to who they thought you were. They thought you were a lie. That's what they created in their mind. They already had it, the notion, preconceived. It was already there. They didn't get to know you on a soulful level. They just saw the vanity part of you and they assume. And we all know what happens when people assume. Come on now, talk to me. We all know what happens when people assume. Shocking message. So when you speak the truth, oh my God, why would you? Yo, why would you? Are you serious? Are you that? I can't believe. So then they want to condemn your truth as illegal. Well, you should have never said that. And you should have never this. And you should have never that. Well, then how is a person going to be able to change the narrative of a situation if they're not aware of what the truth is? How? Sincerely and genuinely, how? Isn't that how you produce? Isn't this how you your perception grows? By truth? If you don't have the truth or don't know the truth, how are you going to be able to change the situation? So when people say that they are the truth, I side on them like, you're not the truth. And I say it plain talk, bad manners. We don't give a flying fart. I'm so for real with you. I don't care no more. I don't. Oh, I'm the truth. I'm the truth. First off, if you are the truth, you don't have to say that you are the truth. Your energy is going to speak for you. You don't have to say not one fart of a thing. Not one fart of a thing. You don't have to say not one peep. Your energy will speak for you. And most people can't handle that your energy speaks for you. Something wrong with the collective. They think they this. Yeah, you gotta watch this. Is that they don't know nothing about you, only from their preconceived notion of you, which is a lie. So when you're coming up as the truth and it completely debunks their lie, the gossip, the slander, the talking behind your back, the social media post, the getting group of people to watch you in a negative way based on their preconceived notion of the lie. Does that make sense? Let me know. Does that make sense? Yes. Nicole Starn, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, 343 states on Instagram. They don't want us to speak because they know we are on point. If you're coming towards me, despite whatever connection that we have, and you see something within me and you're telling me, hey, such and such, I'm going to pause and reflect. Yes, I am. I'm like, I'm not going to lash at you. Why would you say that? I wouldn't do any of that. I'll pause and reflect. Then I'll come back to you and have the conversation. Remember when you said such and such and such and such? This is how I break down things. I love to reflect and pause and reflect. I do. I've always been that way since I've been a child. And I'm going to come back to you based on what you said. And if you're not able to remember what you said, well, then I know that the thing that you said wasn't truthful. And then they get mad when I see that what they said wasn't truthful. It's like fighting a brick wall, like for real. It's really like fighting a brick wall. That's what lies are. It's composed of, that's what it's composed of. And here's this faulty foundation of lies, and you said truth. Oh my God! Why would you say that? That's not the truth. Oh my God! Oh my God! I can't believe. Well, if it's not the truth, why you? Then it gets to a point where now they feel that you put them in a position where they become very flabbergasted to the point where they can't express their emotions. How is this your fault? Why would you want to be around someone that put it this way, they claim they're the truth. They finally meet up against someone that is the rawest, purest form of truth. You. the truth to debunk their lies. Now they want to argue with you. They'll do it behind just to feel powerful against the truth. Don't argue and fight with this. It doesn't make sense. Then they say, I have trust issues now because you don't trust yourself. Where do you think trust comes from? Trust comes from truth, not lies, truth. So if they have trust issues, that means they don't trust the truth as to who they portrayed themselves to be. Come on now. I speak in gibberish here or what? They have trust issues with you, but they can't trust themselves. They can't trust themselves enough to find the truth or to go deep beneath themselves to find the truth of themselves. Make it make sense. I'm putting this out there. I want intellectual connections. That's what I want. I want. Not need. Want. I would love to have intellectual conversation. It's just, I'm a sapiophile. Yes, I am. I love it. It's such euphoric and it's so uplifting when I'm being able to connect with another person that is very intellectual like myself. Yes. And it's very hard to connect with individuals that are not on the same wavelength when it comes to the intellect that I speak about. For real. So I'm putting it out there. I'm not entertaining gossip. I don't care. I'm not entertaining what he say, she say, them say. I don't care. Stay away from me with that riffraffness. I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care. If you never sat down and have a conversation with me, you don't matter. I'm being so for real. And why would you say that? Because that's the truth of me. That's my truth. You don't have to accept my truth, which is fine. I'm not going to fight and argue you down because your truth's a little bit different than my truth. That's your truth. If that makes sense. But yet again, most people are living a life of lies. They don't know what truth is if it was to hit them on their bum. Now they want to bully you. Boogity boogity boo. Now they want to bully you. What are you bullying the collective for? Oh, yeah, make it make sense, please. Oh, man. Child. It's so sad, child. Then they become a rival of the truth. You're going to rival with truth? Well, good luck with that, because I wouldn't do that. For what reason? Just leave it alone. If you know you ain't being truthful to self, just leave it alone. Because you ain't going to be able to handle the truth. I'm being for real with you. This is something I've studied. Okay? Y'all know I'm going back to school to be a psychoanalyst. So my ass always analyze. I'm like, you said what? You did what? Then they get all confused with the aura. Now they become confused and bad luck starts to intertwine in their lives here because they refuse to acknowledge the truth of themselves. But yet again, it's your fault. It's not your fault. It's displaced or misplaced anger is what it is. It's a toxic entire moment. They're so toxic that they create their own tower moment. Entitled people fall into this line as well too. Entitled people think that they can do whatever they want and say whatever they want with no repercussions to it. They refuse to accept that they are entitled to other people's time, energy, and effort. In the moment that someone speaks the truth surrounding the entitlement that they feel like they have towards another person, here, they become so toxic, or the toxicity of the entitlement, because entitlement is toxic. Yes, it is. So a lot of people think that they can get what they want, when they want, how they want. And sometimes that's just not the way the world works. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do internally, you're going to have a very hard time manifesting whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest or pray for or whatever, however way y'all do y'all thing. So that toxicity within them has been simmering for quite some time. And you come along with the truth here. Now you've seen all the toxicity that they have been suppressing for months, days, years, whatever, centuries, decades, whatever, however here. Now the toxicity is polluting them on a space or in a stage where everyone else is seeing it. At the end of it all, they're only hurting themselves. They're not hurting you. They keep saying that they're trying to hurt you. No, they're hurting themselves. That's when the Tower moment comes in. Does that make sense? It's pathetic and sad is what it is. Could it be daddy issues? Take it how it resonates. However it resonates. Maybe you grew up with a father, your father didn't teach you anything. I can relate to that. Maybe you didn't have a father at all. However it resonates. But there could be some daddy issues surrounding that as well too. Male figures, authority, again, however it resonates. But these things don't just happen overnight, meaning in regards to the lies of self. It don't happen overnight. Something somewhere within a person's self or body has been conditioned to live underneath that lie. And it's up to you as that person who may have been conditioned to be underneath a certain lie, and that could be spun in many different ways, to see the actual truth in the lie. That's how you change. That's how you shift. You don't shift through lies. You shift through truth. They shift through lies because they got one lie here. Here come the next lie. So they're shifting. Okay, well, that lie didn't work. Let me use this another lie. Okay, that didn't work. Well, let me. And they keep, all they keep doing is just adding on lies. One truth is all that is needed to disassemble, disconnect, disengage the lies. One truth. One. For the many lies that they spin. One truth. They're irresponsible with the truth. Of course they are. They're irresponsible with the truth. You. Does that make sense? You are the truth. You're the walking truth. You operate in truth, whatever. However that resonates for you. They're irresponsible with the truth. They lash out at the truth. They want that lie to be so real. They'll do anything to keep it as such, even at some point self-sabotaging themselves. And I don't want anyone around me that is willing to self-sabotage themselves because they refuse to see the truth in them, despite whatever that may be for them. I don't want to be around people like that. I tried it and it didn't work. I said, yeah, this ain't for me. So what did I do? I took accountability, because that's the truth, and I changed the narrative. And the moment I changed the narrative is the moment that I saw a shift in the things that I wanted to see happen. Does that make sense? So I'll take you up on it. DNA Upgrade states that truth, on YouTube states that truth is hurting. Yes and no. It depends from the aspect. But yes, I do agree. The truth can hurt or will hurt people that are telling lies. But the one that's speaking the truth and coming towards you with the truth, you're in truth, but maybe you don't know that part of you to be truthful. And someone comes to bring you that message surrounding the truth, well, it won't hurt. You'll just reflect and be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I never saw it in that way. That's accountability. 90% of people walking this planet don't have accountability, refuse to take accountability. And you can see just on the day-to-day and the way that they're living, you can see. Thank you. If you're truthful with self, the truth won't harm you. If you're not truthful with self, the truth will harm you. So yes, I do agree. Could be family, however it resonates. Some of y'all were conditioned to lie when you were in families. Some families are okay with living in truth, lies. Some families are okay living in lies that they see as truth. How can a lie be a truth? Maybe you can if you're able to spin it from this perspective. That is the truth of them. The actual lie is the truth of them. So yeah, I get it. Because it could be spun in many different ways. Secret lover is here. They love to keep secrets in regards to the lies. So yeah, I get it. But I don't want no parts of it. And again, the more you work on you internally, I'm telling you, the more your energy is going to speak for you. They were like, dang, look at the collective. Oh, wow. The collective's glowing. Oh, wow. The collective has gained weight, lost weight, whatever. However, they're going to see. Let them see. You ain't got to prove nothing to anybody. Let your energy talk for you, boo. Let your energy show them what's up. Yeah, that's the karma. Heather Joy states, yes, karma. Absolutely. For them, they think it's karma. Maybe it is. You're the one that's doing the work, which is the absolute truth of you. So yeah, I can see it coming off as karma in that way. Because it's like, why you and not them? They're not doing the work. So... yes, ma'am, Heather. We have ally here. The best ally that you can have for self is self. And God, Jesus, universe, Buddha, Krishna, ancestors, however way y'all do y'all thing. But the best ally that you can have on your path or walking beside you, in front of you, and behind you, first and foremost, whoever your creator, divine, whoever, however, self. Because the more you are connected to self, the more you're going to receive the messages. So this is the best ally to have. You. The more you trust yourself, the more you can rest. You ain't gonna be going stir crazy and, oh my God, it's such and such doing this to me and such and I just know they're doing something. All that won't even, you trust yourself. You won't even allow those things to bother you. That's the truth of it all. Control is their safety net. When caught, the narrative they've been shaping begins to unravel. What is the narrative for a narcissist? The lie. That's the narrative, not the truth. They're so powerful, they don't even know how much or how powerful they are, that their own power takes them out. True statement. They're so powerful that they don't even realize how powerful they are until their own power stares them in their face and takes them out. That's why you get the blame for everything. It's the collective. It's the collective. It's not. Robbery. This is why they feel robbed by you, because you won't take the lie as such. Why you won't believe the lie? And I told you that's what it is. It's not, though. That's the thing. They want to rob you as to how you perceive them. And many people are going to perceive you in many different ways. That doesn't mean that's the truth of it. It's people that are quick to judge other people. Those are the ones I'm specifically speaking about, who love to throw rocks and hide their hands. That's exactly who I'm speaking about. When they feel robbed, that they can no longer control you with their bullshit of lies when it comes to themselves. Tell them miss you with that foolishness and that malarkey and that tomfoolery, because that's what it is. It's nothing but incoherent gibberish and jargon is what it is. They don't make sense. How can you blame another person for what you won't do for yourself? Make it make sense. This is what they do. They blame you because you refuse to allow them to control you under a lie. Make it make sense. It could be a Libra, however it resonates. Could have been friends with benefit with this person. Take it how it resonates. Or they want to be friends with benefits with you, however it resonates. It don't have to be sexual either. You could have been beneficial to a friend as well too, and they benefited off of your goodness or your likeness or your kindness or your generosity. Don't have to be sexual, but again, take it how it resonates. So the moment that you took away the benefits from them, now you're the bad guy. Now they got to talk about you. Now you ain't this. Now you ain't that. Entitlement. 100%. Could be an Aries, however it resonates. There are going to be many paths to get to that top part, the actual truth. The truth starts at the top, not at the bottom, or maybe do start at the bottom. You can spin it in many different ways. But from the most part, from this perspective here, the goal, the ascension, evolving into the greatest part of self, or the greatest version of self, is the truth. And there are many paths that you may be open to, may be privy to, or may have access to, that's going to help you to get to that ultimate goal, the truth. There are going to be lies entangled as you make your way up to the truth. Some people never make it to the truth because they can't get out of the lies. They're so entangled in the lies that they never see the truth as such, or they never be able to make it to the truth. If that makes sense. You can't be on your spiritual path and not truthful to yourself. You're doing a disservice to yourself. That may sting a bit, but I ain't trying to come off as mean or rude. I'm telling you, that's what it is. So if you think you're on your spiritual path or your spiritual journey or whatever, however here, and you're not being truthful to self, baby, you're going to have a hard time. I'm telling you, you're going to get your head knocked between the washer and the dryer. Well, why this is happening to me? Oh, I don't understand this. Well, why is this? Because you need to get to the bottom of the truth. See how it could be spun in many different ways to see why that thing is happening for you in that way. And most don't want to do that. Entitled. That's why some, not all, some of you guys who are successful or on the verge of being successful or wanting to be successful here, why some want to be riding your coattail. They seen you did the work. Well, I ain't got to do the work. They did it. Let me just follow them. No. Why do you want a follower following you? Leaders. If you are a leader, you're going to lead others into the truth of their self. I don't have followers. I don't look at y'all as followers. I am a leader leading y'all back to who you are. I don't play that following stuff. I don't even like that word following. But I will use it in the correct term when I need to. But in this instance here, you're not a follower. You're wanting to be led back to self. I did it, so I'm showing you how to do it. Oh, they a follower. They this and that. And yeah, you're going to have followers. Yeah, you are. You're going to have your followers. But you're going to be able to differentiate between the two. Who's following you versus who's leading with you. Who's following you versus who's leading with you. With is a connection, is a combination, it's a cooperation, is with. That makes sense? So when they recognize that you are a leader and whatever it is that you do for self, they're wanting to start to emulate you being that leader. But they're nothing but a follower. Now I'm using it in this point of view. They're nothing but a follower to the point where they emotionally exhaust themselves. They do, because they can't lead how you lead. Does that make sense? Oh, slow down. Well, why? No, don't. No, wait a second. No, you don't have to wait a second for anybody. Because if they were truthful about putting in the work, they will be leading themselves to do the work. You see what I'm talking about? You see where I'm going with this? Yes, Brian Burke states on TikTok, it ain't on me, it's in me, period. You get it. Mic drop or card drop. You get it. It's not on you, it's in you. This is why they're stuck and you're not. This is why they're specifically stuck and you are not. Because they want to follow you. In the moment that you realize you have a follower, you be like, let me disconnect. Why would you disconnect? I was trying to ride your coattail. I was trying to get this done. I need more time. No, they don't. That's entitlement talking. That's the lie of them. Or the truth of them, the truth of their lies that makes them them. And that ain't going to work long for them if they continue to live that truth as that lie. A truth cannot be a lie. It could never be. You can try as much as you want, and I'll sit and watch you. I sure will. But a truth can never be a lie. Somebody listen to Chico DeBarge, or the DeBarge brothers. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. Ooh, and I like it. That's what I'm hearing. Could be a Sagittarius. You could be or they could be, however it resonates. That's pretending that they're living a truth or they're living a life of truth and they're not. If you're not willing to die within yourself, you're not living truthfully. Yeah, they come off as too good to be true. Why are you gossiping about the collective for? Why do you have to get a crowd of people to come towards the collective to make a preconceived notion or points of view surrounding the collective here? Why couldn't they just come to you and have a conversation? Because they can't handle the truth as to what you would speak if y'all were to have the conversation. So they got to make you look like the aggressor. They got to make you look like you are the combative one, and you're not any of those things. That's why I say, if it's not true, don't give it any energy, because the things that they say, it won't make sense. It won't make sense. Well, I thought you said the collective was something. No, look closely, just look. Then they're going to try to get you out of character to make their narrative stick. Come on, man. It's boring. Same day in and day out pattern. It's boring. What else you got? You ain't got nothing else? Okay, I ain't got time for that. It's just the same old child. The ego cannot tolerate shame or accountability. And this is how some people walk around with super egos, because their initial ego wasn't tamed. And I'll say it that way, it wasn't tamed with truth. It was fueled with lies. So people piping up their head, yup, you shouldn't, yup, man, I always knew the collective was like that, and never had a conversation with you, never been in the same room with you, but just because of what that person, I just knew it. Stay away from people like that. That's herd mentality. Those are the true followers. Stay away from people like that who can't think for themselves. We got the volcano here, and it blows up in their face. The more truth you speak, the more protected you'll be by it. Yes, the more truth that you speak, the more you'll be protected by it. Thank you for the gifts. And the more you are protected by it, the more it loses esteem, endurance. Endurance is in reverse. And then they start to get scared. What are they saying? And these are specifically for the ones that block you but still want to know what you got going on. Well, then why block the collective if you want to know what we got going on? Because they can't see like they think they can. They can't. They can't. They can't even see themselves. So how can they see you? They can't even see themselves. So how can they see you? Thank you. Yeah, they want humanity, or we'll just put it this way, a group of people or community of people to look at you a certain way because they weren't able to get you to look at them a certain way. Well, if you're not going to see me in this way, I'm going to talk and gossip about you with other people so they can see me and also you in a certain way. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So they're spilling tea, which is fine. They can spill the tea they want, but they end up betraying themselves with the tea that they spill. So let them. Okay. I can't believe the collective did that to you. Are you serious? Never had a conversation, but just going by what that person said is always the first person to say something, almost always is the aggressor in a situation. That's my point of view. That's my point of view. And it almost always come out at the end that the person that stayed quiet was the one that was actually walking in their truth. No matter how long it takes, it's always going to come out. Let them spill it. They can spill it. They can drip it. They can drop it. They can sift it. Let them, whatever they want to do with the tea, they can do whatever they want to do with the tea. Who cares? That's why they stuck. This is exactly why they're stuck. Okay. And they're not receiving justice from it. Yet again, it's your fault. Oh, Lord, child. Make it make sense. So his name is Colleen. Got the Hermit here. It's in reverse. Could be a Virgo. You got isolation and abandonment. So now they're going into isolation to try to figure out their next move. And their next move, because they're not able to see themselves in the way that they should see themselves, is self-sabotage. So they're going to retreat from what has taken place, despite them yelling it to the rooftop that you ain't this and you ain't that. Okay, whatever. Now they're retreating to figure out their next move, and their next move is to self-sabotage themselves. That is the next move, and continuously will always be the next move. Always. Then we have the Star here. That's you. You could be an Aquarius, or you're just an Aquarius-like energy. But you are the star of the show. Why? Because your energy speaks for you. The truth as to who you are speaks for you. This is why you're in this glowing space, soon to be or is right now. And they can't handle that. It says hope, faith, rejuvenation, spirituality is what it says on this card as the Star card. Rejuvenation, spirituality, faith, and hope. You put all those four beautiful characteristics surrounding you, of course you're going to come out a star. Thank you. Of course you're going to come out a star. A bright one at that. One of the brightest that anyone has ever seen. Ace of Wands and Strength, both fire. You could be a fire sign, or they could be. But the confidence as to what you operate from is being shown here. The inner strength of you, the bravery of you is creating a whole new beginning for you. The more energy you put into yourself, the more you're going to rise. The more energy you put into yourself, the more you're going to rise. Yep. The inner flame, the truth of you, like, dang. Yep. Hard pill to swallow. It makes sense. That's the truth. Let me change the narrative. Let me change the scope of things. Let me change the perception of things. Okay. Let me become more braver and confident and dive in deep. Most people are afraid of themselves because of how harsh the truth would be if it was revealed to them. This is why you can't fight and argue with someone who refuses to see the truth as is. You got to leave them behind. You ain't got to argue and fight with them. Just leave them behind. They're not ready, or they'll never be. Who cares? It's not your problem to deal with. Release them and move forward. Strength is Leo, so it could be a Leo energy here, okay? You got the Ace of Swords and the Knight of Cups here. Yeah, so they're confused by your direction because they thought that you were going to they thought they can redirect you into an argument with them, and you don't need to do that. So with the Ace of Swords and the Knight of Cups here in reverse, yeah, they're confused by their troublemaking, whatever, tirades towards you. It's not working. Oh, they're not paying me no mind. It's, oh, well, but, and then they ramp it up or amp it up, and it's just like, okay, whatever. You're boring, you're sad. And I'm not saying you, meaning these karmics here. They're boring, they're sad, same repetitive things. Like, okay, well, whatever. What else you got? It's just, then they crying here with the Five of Cups. Oh my God, and you ain't give me no time of day. You and didn't done. Judgment is here. Because you call judgment. Man, I swear, man. They're wasteful in nature is what they are. Very, very wasteful. Very wasteful. They don't care who they take from, as long as they get their needs fulfilled and their wants fulfilled. No. They can't do it for themselves, but they need other people to fulfill their needs. That's a truthful person. They can't even sit down with themselves to realize that they're not even truthful with themselves as to why they're not able to manifest whatever it is that they're trying to manifest. Gratitude is in reverse. It's a sense of false gratitude. Could be a Gemini, however it resonates. Fertility. So you're going to grow, you're going to ascend, they're going to descend. This is a Leo energy here. So take it how it resonates. And the more you grow, the more they're going to be displeased. Who cares? Who cares? Last card, Scorpio, is trust. The more you trust yourself, the more you won't be intertwined and stuff like this. I'm telling you. This is a single eye. The single eye is the third eye. The more you trust what you see and what people try to push onto you here, the more you're going to trust yourself. So to hell with what people say, who cares? Can they prove it? More than likely they can't, because it's a lie. You can't prove lies with the truth. You could prove truth with you can't prove truth with lies. You can prove lies with truth. Hopefully I said that right. Hold on, let me pause for a moment to make sure I said that correctly. Yes, you can't prove truth with lies. Yes, I said it right. I want to make sure. Sometimes I get a little, We have Aries, Virgo, Capricorn, Gemini, Cancer, Aquarius, Aries. All right. Yet again, before you get off of here, don't forget today is the last day, 50% sale until after 50% sale is today, last day for 50-minute Lord child, 30-minute readings. Lord. Okay, let me repeat that. Today is the last day of my 50% sale in regards to my sprays, and also 50% off of 30-minute readings. They're currently at $62.50 right now. After today, my prices are going up. Just gonna let you know. All right. Also, I'm sending out emails for the second wave of my Wisdom Beyond Wombs podcast. So if you are interested, definitely make sure you sign up. Let me say this very clear and direct. I only want serious individuals that feel very comfortable and vulnerable speaking about, your past experiences. Okay? If you're not comfortable, that's okay. But I'm looking for people that is going to respect my time as I respect yours. Do not sign up if you're not ready to be a part of the podcast. Okay? If you are ready, I'm going to put that information out so you can sign up. This is the second wave of individuals that I would love to connect to give you a platform so you can speak about your experiences and things of that nature. Okay? So if you're interested, I'm going to post it. Click the link. It's a form you have to fill out, and then we go from there. Okay? Also, I do have the Wisdom Beyond Wounds group on Facebook. There are prompts, shadow work prompts that are also in there. Every day you will receive a prompt. Okay. If you don't understand something, ask in the group. Okay. That group is it's a healing part. It's healing. Okay. So don't come in there with negativity because you ain't going, you going to be upset. I'm telling you, you're going to be upset this ain't working out, and that's okay. If you're going to be serious, come serious. Serious only. I'm so for real. I'm putting time and effort into this. Make sure you give that back to me and also yourself. Okay? Wisdom Beyond's Wounds group book is also here that you can purchase for yourself. That is also on Amazon. All right. And I think that's all the publications and notification that I have. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Sign up for the Wisdom Beyond Wounds group. Just check it out on Facebook. We're on there. I post in there from time to time, and I'm gonna do better with that because I now have, But yeah, go out there, be freaking great, because that's what you owe to yourself. The more work you do with yourself, the more you're going to be successful with self. That's truly that's the medicine. That's the antidote. That's the answer. The more you pour into yourself, the more you're going to be extremely successful with self. All right. So go out there, be freaking successful. Go out there, be freaking great. And I'll see y'all on the next one. You take care. Thank you so much. Mwah. Thank you, TikTok. Love you guys. Thank you for the gifts. Instagram and Facebook, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys in the next one. And YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your patience as well. Yeah. Yeah, okay. But thank you so much for being here. You are truly appreciated. Thank you for the gifts as well, too. I'm grateful for you guys because this is really where I started off. So I'm grateful. Thank you so much.